Hey, what's going on, everyone? This is Mike Colleen, MikeColleen.com. It's MikeKollin.com. Um, let's see here. Okay, so this is going to be about a video series called "Why Men Just Don't Get It." It is going to be designed for women, or geared towards women. Guys, you can follow along. Remember, I do have books for men and courses for men and one-on-one coaching. Also, obviously, for women, we have a new women's event, which is going to be really fun. It's something I've set up a few times, and we're just really setting this on now. So I'm going to start off with this. I got another message off of my YouTube videos from a lady who said, basically the effective, I never understood why I felt so alone and so empty in my relationship. She was married. She is married. And so here's the answer. We're in two different worlds, and I mean two completely different worlds. Let's see if I got a piece I drew out here. Yeah, okay. So we are experiencing life, communication, love, body language, money, food, everything from two completely wildly different perspectives. And this is literally what I mean, and this is going to make sense. And you'll see what I'm saying. For the most part, men experience the world through the left brain. All right, that's the logical processor. Let's say it's looking this way. For the most part, especially when it comes to relationships, women experience the world from the right brain. Here's why. That's actually the right brain to be in when you're in a relationship and in social situations, because the right brain it's a creative, emotional, spiritual brain, but it's also the social relationship brain. Most guys try to experience relationships through logic, and that's not emotional, that's not social, that's not relationship. So here's what's going on. Women receive what what women call emotional fulfillment through right brain communication. Well, guess how men communicate? That's right, through the logical processor. It's very simple. These are two different processors, just like an Apple computer's processor, which is the female brain, or similar to it, and the IBM, the linear external processor. Men experience the world and process words and communication through their logic. And it's the external linear, meaning it's narrow, goes in a line, and it's external, outside of his body. And so if you're feeling empty, emotionally empty inside, and you feel alone, here's why. He's disconnected from himself. And what do you want to do? You want to feel connected to him. The self, meaning in here, not his forehead, not his logic, but his body, his emotions, his feelings, who he really is on the inside. Here's the problem, especially the modern male, because of computers and technology, it's very left brain, so it makes him more logical, it makes him more external. So he communicates in the logical, linear, external language. And what it does is, it takes you out of your body, your emotions, and it brings you up into your logic, and now you're feeling empty. So when you're around this guy, he's making you feel empty on accident, emotionally empty. And don't worry, we're going to get to fulfilling communication so you can feel more emotionally fulfilled. That's really what the course is all about, okay? So you're more content, more emotionally grounded. So what I'm suggesting, what I'm stating, is that without realizing it, simply by him being Mr. Logical, he's making you feel disconnected, empty, and also alone, even though you sleep in the same bed. And that's what this woman said. We live together, we have the same bed, we eat together, and yet I feel alone. And here again, I'm going to do the left brain is what's called the dissociated brain. You know, if you want to really understand this, I've got a course for women. It's about a 4-hour, 3.5, 4.5 hour, maybe 5-hour course if you include the answer question session after. For women, it will fill in all the blanks, and you will understand what's going on. It'll give you a sense of relief, a greater sense of clarity and understanding, and you'll realize your husband actually loves you. He just needs to take the men's side of the course, crack the female code, to communicate in a way that gives you mental stimulation and emotional fulfillment. Now, let me just say this real quick. And ladies go, well, what do you do? Well, I teach men how to open up to the right brain and communicate in the internal, mentally stimulating and emotionally fulfilling language for romance, love, and clarity, and everyday communication. The whole course is designed to give you what you need in a relationship. So for women, the course is Why Men Just Don't Get It. The event is fun, it's stimulating, it's fascinating. It's a new understanding and a new way of looking at relationships and coming to a place of actual understanding. And that's what it gives women, is a deep sense of understanding and clarity. So you don't walk away feeling empty and alone. Now you're like, oh, now I know why he's doing that. So let me go into this whole, give me a quick story and a basic understanding of what the hell is going on, okay? So here's what's going on. These are two different processors, the logical processor and the emotional processor, okay? So women can at times, and do a lot, shift over to the right brain and communicate out of this brain. Now, this filter is the five senses. It is a processor that processes through see, hear, feel, smell, and taste. And that gives you an emotional experience. And so what I tell men is, in order for a woman to understand you, she has to have an emotional experience of what you're saying. So when you come home and said, I had a great day, she's looking at you like, what does that mean? Because the right brain's always asking one of two questions. What does that really mean, or what's a deeper meaning of that? And when you don't tell her and describe that in detail, in descriptive detail, with adjectives and adverbs, so she can see, hear, feel, smell, and taste and experience what you're saying, she's left with a blank. She's like, well, why won't he tell me? Believe it or not, ladies, but when he said, I feel great, I had a great day, or if you're lucky, you got a whole sentence, maybe two, if you're blessed. In his world, he explained in depth. And he's looking at you, what do you want? And you're like, well, why won't you tell me? He's like, I just did. I had a great day. What do you want from me? The details? And I step in and say, yeah, she does. So what's going on is, here's a good symbol. So if I have the meme, I'll actually drop it in here and you'll see it. I found it on Facebook, but it's a really good example. So here's the woman, here's the man, right? So if you're at their perspective looking at that, well, that's going to look like a 9. But if you're at this perspective and you're looking at it from her perspective, that's going to look like a 6. And that is how we are experiencing the world. We're in two different processors, and I am telling you, they are two totally different experiences. It's like she's looking at him, and behind him, and she sees the mountains. It's like a big series of mountains. It's lush, it's grass, and tons of pine trees, right? So he's over here looking at this way going, no, it's not. It's a freaking beach about a half mile down, and it's sandy dunes, and there's a beautiful ocean with crystal clear blue water. And she's like, what are you talking about? No, it's not. It's a mountain. There's pine trees. There's lush grass, blah, blah, blah. They go on for miles and miles. And he's like, yeah, you're crazy. You're insane. Does that sound familiar? Here's another thing. And I'll get to a story after this. So here's another example or metaphor. Here's what's going on. So a lot of times women will do this. They will talk to them in the left brain, because women can be left and right. So you're in your left brain. A means A. That's how the logical brain, A means A. That's it. There is no deeper meaning. If he says I love you, it literally means I love you. There's no hidden code. There's no hidden indirect way of talking about it. So when you're in your logical brain, he is with you. He understands you. But the challenge is, in the middle of a conversation, a woman will switch over to her right brain's processor and speak the internal language. Remember, that's a different language. The left brain is the external language, a linear. The right brain is the expanding, fulfilling language. It's the descriptive, rich, colorful language, right? So when you switch over to your right brain and start to communicate, he gets lost and he's like, what? What are you saying? What happened? She's like, I'm on another page. And he's like, page of what? We're not looking at a book. What are you talking about? What you mean is you're in your right brain. So here is what happens. Have you ever had this experience in your life with your boyfriend, your high school boyfriend, a friend, a brother, your husband, your next husband? So you're in your right brain saying A. Now remember, this is a different filter and it gives a different meaning to the same words. So you're processing and communicating through the internal language and you're saying A. Well, he takes those same words and he brings them over into this linear funnel, and it funnels through this filter of logic, and he's having a logical experience, not an emotionally fulfilling experience. So he's over here saying, yeah, you're saying B. And you're like, no. I'm saying A. And he goes, yeah, you're saying this. And you're like, no, I'm saying this. Does that sound familiar? I bet that happens all the time. In fact, I know it does. I'll give you a real life example that I had. I was at the grocery store. This was years ago, and it happens all the time. I was behind this couple, about 38, 40 years old. They're fairly well off, you could tell. And they were having a conversation, and she's over here, blah, 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 speaking the right brain language, using descriptive words, adjectives, adverbs, describing every depth in detail. She's saying A, using the internal language, which is, so there's a combination of things going on here. Another thing is, the right brain, you say A, but you don't mean A. You mean something else, B. That drives men nuts. They're like, what are you talking about? Why would anyone say A and not mean A? Because the left brain says A, and it only and always means A. Women do it too. When you're in your left brain, you do it when you're in your left brain. But when you switch to your right brain, he's still in his left brain. So she's over here saying A, using symbology and meaning this picture A will say, and he brings the same language, same communication, and processes it through a single processor, through the linear logical processor, and it changes the meaning of everything you just said to something opposite B. I bet that happens a lot to you, doesn't it? If you want to learn more on the differences between men and women about romance, love, and even romantic seduction in a way that melts a woman's heart and opens her up to you, go ahead and take the course. It's an event. It's a fun course. It's only about 4 to 5 hours. Why Men Just Don't Get It. And if you can't do that, then I do highly recommend you buy both my books for women, Why Men Just Don't Get It, and the follow-up book on Every Woman's Battle, The Need for Love and Emotional Fulfillment. Those books are going to open your eyes. For guys, I highly recommend buy my book, Cracked Female Code, and you will understand women are, yes, when it comes to relationships, romance, and love, emotional fulfillment, and turning her on, if I can say that, it is a hidden code. It is done through communication, body language, etc. Buying her things is nice. Everyone likes to be bought expensive things. But women, in order for her to understand you and know that she's loved, you have to learn this code. Hey, this is Mike Colleen, MikeColleen.com. That's MikeKollin.com. See you at my next seminar. Bye.